Hi guys in life, how you guys doing? I slept in. I met a friend yesterday, and we're going to collaborate with our YouTube channels and stuff. He's a business person, but he has YouTube channels, and I'm not really a business person, but I have a YouTube channel. We're going to see if we can mix our stuff and together. Um, he just picked me up for a ride, and it turns out that he he goes to the Mormon church I've been going to, and I have some thoughts about that, but not right this second. I'll get to that. Um, First of all, 2 days ago, I survived an assassination attempt. Um, Not even my first, of course. I was walking on Via Princesa, which is limited. You can't go. It's shut in. You can't go infinitely in either direction, right or left. And I was going with traffic, so I was on the right side of the road as I'm walking, and something told me to move to the left side, so I did. And then a car about 5 to 10 seconds later was going on the side of the road that I was on, and it was a big white truck. He comes barreling down at 60 or 70 miles an hour and then swerves in to me. On my side of the road, but he honks, I think, to scare me, but actually all it did is it alert me because I kind of moved out of the way real quick, Lee, and he missed me by about a foot and a half, going about 60, 70 miles an hour. And I consider that an assassination attempt. He was trying to hurt me. He was at the very least, he was trying to scare the crap out of me, but at the very most, it was trying to hit me. So, but he swerved away down a side road so I wouldn't get his license plate, because I can get that in a second or two. So there's that. Now, as far as the I've been going to the Mormon church. I'm going to talk about my theories about this, and how I feel and all that. First of all, theory of anything, there's always a possibility that nothing exists. Therefore there's no truth to anything. I could just be a hallucination. I might not exist, and therefore if I don't exist, nothing exists, because I don't exist to observe it. Therefore there is no truth, because there's nothing to exist, and but I'm going to dismiss that as a fringe theory that I'm not going to go with. It's kind of a cop-out to me, because chances are, if I didn't exist, I wouldn't be asking the question, do I exist? Something that doesn't exist can't ask itself if it exists. And I'm just going to go with the thought that, that I'm here, I have legs, the world is real, things are really present here in this universe and in this world. I'm just going to go with that. It might be a small limb I'm reaching out to. And the guy that helped me get that, I'm going to give credit where credit's due, because a guy that helped me get that was when I was going to At the Cross Church in Oceanside. A guy named David, who I've mentioned before, was very smart, very intelligent. He was leading the group one time. He comes up to me and smacks me on my leg really hard, and I don't care. That's fine with me. I didn't care. He goes, "Now, did you just get hit?" I said, "Yeah." Then he said, "Well, do you believe that, or do you think this is all just a dream?" And I said, "No, I believe it. I believe you just hit me." And he goes, "Well, good. Then we can work with you." Means if you know there is truth, such a thing, if you accept that there's such a thing as truth, you can be worked with as far as what you believe that truth is. If you don't believe in truth, then okay, see you later, have a good day. I believe there is truth. I believe there's something to know about, I believe we exist, and there is truth about things that exist and all that. I'm just going to go with that for now. Well, then within that, there's two possibilities about the Mormon church. So assuming that we're assuming that it exists because I exist, and etc. I've been introduced to it, and either it's the biggest hoax on the planet, or it's Jesus Christ Church. And if it's Jesus Christ Church, then there's something to that. There's something to, that's not nothing. If Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and if this is his organization, his church, it's worth checking that out, I think, because I'm a seeker of truth. And not only that, it's not just pure intellectual truth. In the Bible, it talks, Jesus says, deny your cross and follow me. But I think that means act like he did. Do the works, by works you shall know them. Here, this is by this you shall know you are Christians, that you have love for one another. These things point to fruits, as evidence of truth, not just, well, this book says this, your book says that, my book's right, your book is wrong, you suck. It's do they show the fruits of Jesus? Do they act like he would? Do they follow him in acting like he did? Or does, if he exists, he still exists. He was resurrected. So Jesus is. He didn't just die on the cross. He was resurrected. If the story is true, do they act like Jesus does and did? And before I even considered, before I even met this dude, and before I even, before I have noticed that the Mormons are the only church I've ever seen that actually shows love. I'm sorry. I mean, the doctrine, who knows right now? This is what I'm saying right now. But they're the only Christians that show true love. I've been to a lot of them. Okay, I've been in Catholic churches, I've been in Protestant churches, I've been baptized Protestant twice. At the cross as Protestant, I think, but if it's not, then I've been baptized Protestant once. I've been baptized Seventh-day Adventist. I've been baptized Jehovah's Witness, and then I was rebaptized as at the cross, which I'm not sure is Protestant or just a more minor denomination. I've been to a lot of churches, and none of them actually, except the Mormons, show Christian love. And so right there, if it's like I said, since we assume that there is truth. And the Mormons are the only ones that show Christian love. So and then the other thing is that they are very organized worldwide. This would be the case if Jesus had a church, because Jesus is God. God is a God of order, not a God of disorder. It would make sense that if Jesus had a church, it wouldn't be willy-nilly like the regular Christian churches are, where there's just no structure. The structure of it, of the Mormon church, the massiveness of that structure, the fact that they show Christian love, makes me come to the conclusion. Now, who am I? But I come to the conclusion that if the Bible is true, the Mormons have that. The Mormons are Jesus Christ's church. And if the Bible isn't true, and the Mormons are not Jesus Christ's church, then it is a very, very well organized and well thought out and planned and crafted hoax. One of the biggest on the planet, actually. I've been shown some of the diversity and the extent of their structure and organization, structuredness, order to them, and structure, that it's kind of unlikely that somebody would or could even would, let's say would, go to all the trouble to make that up just as a hoax if it weren't in fact Jesus Christ doing that, leading that. Why would they, first of all? And it would be hard to do that because there's so much to it. It would take a lot of scheming and planning that would be way over the top, really, in practical terms. I mean, who would do that? Who's doing it? Who's pulling the real strings? What their motive is? How do they get their money? I just go with the more logical, more likely truth of that is that it's Jesus Christ's church, and I'm just going to go with that right now. I'm gonna go ahead and keep going to the Mormon church. I'm not making any more I'm not making any more I'm not obligating myself any further than that right now. I'm just saying I'm going to go to the church, and I'm going to go with what I just said, that if either it's a big hoax or it's Jesus Christ's church, and more likely it's Jesus Christ's church, and more likely I actually exist, so Jesus exists, and it's probably Jesus Christ's church. Now, and on top of that, I like the energy of the church. I like the energy I get when I'm there. The songs are immaculately written and actually written out in the songbook. That's a first for churches. I play guitar, and every other church I've ever been to just writes the words down, and the music is junk. But the Mormons actually, the music that you see, not just the words, but all the music you see is actually structured exactly what you're actually hearing and singing and hearing the organist do. It's all correct, and it's beautiful music, and I like it, and I like singing the songs, and the messages are not by one person every time for the longest time that gets paid. LOL. They're shorter. They're from the actually laity, the members of the church. They're not just from one minister that gets paid for what he's doing, but they're from all the congregation. It participates in the sharing. The shares are on topic, brief, not just I'll talk as long as I can, and I talk about myself and whatever I want. And they're sincere, and they end with I say this in the name of Jesus Christ, so they give the credit to Him. And the same with and I feel and I sense sincerity in the shares. I have sincerity myself, so I can sense that fairly well when other people do it. Other people do it or don't, and I sense they're sincere. So, and he had me over for dinner with his girlfriend and all that. And just because I just tried to have an assassination attempt, I'm not gonna go on right now. I'm not gonna introduce everybody that, the whole family that he's with, because I don't want to put them under any risk in case somebody says, well, hey, look them up. No, not right now. I'll just say that, I'll just say I met this guy. His name is Ben. He goes to the Mormon church. That right now, I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to introduce any more characters. There's a family involved and friends I'm starting to make and other people I'm going to meet. But right now, let's leave it between me and Ben. I don't want to. I have haters. I don't want those haters to bleed into these people. And they're my friends. And I'm just if you meet them on video later, because me and Ben are going to collaborate, that's fine. You will. And then you'll say, hey, this is this, and but I'm not going to right now, it's just me and Ben are going to collaborate with our talents. He's a business real estate, type of person, insurance and all that, and has some YouTube channels. And I don't have the business savvy he does, but I have a YouTube channel that's good, and I have guitar ability, and we're just going to try to collaborate, And he's a nice guy who picks somebody up. I get rides a lot, but they never take me to their house. He took me to his house, to his family's friends he stays with and everything. Had dinner with me and just invited me. And this is a little, I have very good senses. I've got good eyesight, hearing, and touch sensibility. Because I'm largely in part, if not completely, because I have Asperger's syndrome and I'm very sensitive with my senses. And I have really good eyesight. I've never worn glasses in my life. And Ben gave me a tiny little Book of Mormon. Here it is. And I can read it fine. Writing is little, but I can read it, and I can carry it on my walks. And he's giving me homework assignments. Like I read everything in yellow right now. So he does, I have enough to start me off. And I'm just gonna try doing it, And and if it's small, I can carry it in my pocket on my walks. That's cool. And there's another couple of other evidences for not only that there's evidences that, assuming we exist, I have two other pieces of evidence that suggest that it's not just us, that there's something up there, which I've been calling the universe, which might be Jesus Christ and God. And I've talked about these before, but let me reiterate. First of all, is the fact that I've been protected all my life. Now, that doesn't happen just from flesh and blood. either I've gotten extremely lucky, like down to astronomical numbers almost, or there's something protecting me, and that means there's something up there, which means it's not. There is a spirit or energy up there, and it might be Jesus and God. Because if it's not, and it's just the universe, then the whole Mormon thing is just a sham that somebody pulled off and to mimic Jesus. And for what reason I don't know, and how I don't know. And there's a chance that that thing I've been calling the universe is Jesus and God, because I have been protected by something. I would lay my life down on it, and probably more than my life. I would just bet with my life and maybe at least my life that there's something more than just us and flesh and blood, because I've been the way I've been protected. And then the second thing that goes along with that is that I give things energy, which is another evidence of the universe. I give things energy and they tend to happen. Like I have a connection with the universe where I've been in healings. I've given energy to things that happen as I gave it energy to happen. And that shows that there's more to us than just flesh and blood, because energy is more of a spiritual thing. It's not just physical, and that energy works. And it's easy to, it's very likely that energy is Christ intercessing on my behalf, me giving it energy, and Jesus kind of helping making it happen, kind of. I don't know that if the universe is Jesus, then I basically those energy things have been like little meditations and prayers to Jesus, that he might be doing miracles on my behalf. I don't know about it. Do you? I mean, it's the energy in the universe, and I'm like have this connection, and then really cool to that. Or it could be Jesus hearing my intercessions. Jesus is almighty. He can read thoughts. Satan can't, but Jesus can. And he's making them happen on my behalf. It's possible. And it's not, and either way, that wouldn't be if it's just flesh and blood. If I'm just a physical body and a brain, there would be no energy exchange like that. I've been in several healings, like I said, and I've given things energy for a year, a long time, and it's consistent. It works, and there's something more than just our bodies and our physical brains and things. I know it. I know it from experience. And now all the things I've just said on this video, I have a feeling and believe that the Mormons have the truth, if there is any. And I'm just going to go with it, you guys. I mean, I'm sorry. They're not twisting my arm. They're not pursuing me like I'm part of a corporation that's going to earn them money, and then behind the scenes they hate me, and they're just dicks. No, so to speak. They actually are showing Christ-like love, and they actually are my friends, and they are actually concerned about my spiritual welfare, not just what can I do for their organization and their name and their bank account. And all the things I've said lead me to that conclusion I've just said in this video. So I'm not making any grand gestures. I'll study at my own rate when I'm ready. Right now I am ready to read the parts he has in yellow. He told me the story about Joseph Smith, and I buy it, dude. I buy it. If you buy the Bible, all the miracles that happened in the Bible era, when Jesus was around, though Jesus didn't die and God died, and now miracles are impossible because we live in the latter days. In fact, if he had miracles then, he should have them now. If he had structure and organization then, he should have it now. So either God and Jesus died or became powerless, or God and Jesus are alive and powerful, and this is the new organization of Jesus and God called Mormon Church, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It fits the bill that is Jesus, because Jesus had organization in his day, and Jesus was alive in his day, and he had organization, and he he had saints, he had prophets, he had structure, he had an organization, and he was alive. Assuming all that is true, which it should be, then the Mormons are that in today's day, in our day. I'm just going to go with that. I'm just going to go with that, because if somehow Jesus exists and Mormons aren't his church, then Jesus is really, really like messed up. He's on drugs or something, and he can't think anymore, and he doesn't have any power. And someone's faking the Mormon church just to make it look like Jesus is in control. But Jesus doesn't have any people, doesn't have any structure. He can't do anything. He's just all messed up on drugs or something. And God has basically died from entropy or heat death. And someone's just making all this up to make us think there's a Jesus and a God. I don't think so. I think that Jesus, this is his structure and his organization of today, and his order and structure, which he had in his day, which is only logical he should still have, because if he's still alive and he's still himself, why would he not? And in fact, the Mormon church exists, so it's likely that the two match, and this is his organization and his structure. I'm going to go with it. I'm not making any drastic changes or promises right now, except what I've told you. But I'm going with it. What do you want me to do? I'm going to go to church. They're going to start picking me up, because we go to the same church. We've just been going at different times, and I've been actually going to the wrong one for my area where I live. So they're going to pick me up and all that, and I'm just going to go with it. I really don't have that much to lose. In fact, I have a lot to gain by if I'm right and this is the truth. I've got a lot to gain by just going with it and keeping an open mind, I think, rather than just at this point saying, well, nope, I'll forget it now. I don't care about truth, and I'm going to shut the door. I've come this far. I just want to stop. Well, that's just not my style. I've been a truth seeker, and I've been protected by something, and I've all my life. Now that it's actually coming closer, I'm just going to go with it rather than just, oh God, I can't take it, and I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go with it. And so I've been transparent with you guys, and that's what I do. And so I have new friends. He is the whole, and I also sort of say, I like the vibe of the church. I like the vibe I feel, and then when I leave, I still feel the energy of it, like for a couple hours later, like I can still feel. And then after that, then I don't, because it's like I just it's in like any other experience. It has its time limit, and I like it. I dig it. I dig the energy I feel, the vibe I feel from it, even after the church. That never happened. Well, never. It doesn't happen with Christian churches for me. I go to church and I just shake it off when I leave. I go, oh my God, okay, can I just shake that off? I'm back. I'm me. This isn't like that. I enjoy it. It engages me when I'm there, and then afterward for an hour or two, I still feel it, and it feels cool. Just being honest. When I'm now, am I charlatan now? I'm just making this up to yank your chain, because now suddenly I'm not. This is my experience. It's what I'm going with, and I'm being transparent with you guys. I would be transparent if this was all a crock. If I thought this was a crock of shit, I would tell you that too. But it's that I'm telling you what I actually feel, which is being transparent, and I mean this, or I would not be saying it. Why would I? Why would I make up something that doesn't further my personal agenda as Shirtless Guy? Except that I'm going to collaborate with Ben, but I don't need that. I have a YouTube channel. Why would I make up this just to do them a favor? Someone buying me out? No, I'm just telling my process, and I'm digging it. You see a little micro smile on me? I actually feel kind of good about it. And so why not? So I'm gonna do some music. I just woke up because I didn't get home till 11 at night because we went over to Ben's house and I had dinner and stuff, and then I came home and I was dead tired, and I just basically now woke up, and I got to go my walk, and not too long because I only have a few hours here, but I'm gonna try to do something musical, see what I can do. I think I might do a guitar lesson, but but I'll try to go in there and do something. Let me just wake up a little bit. I love you guys. Peace, love, and rock and roll.